The Galactic Academy's revelation. The vast amphitheater of the Galactic Academy buzzed with anticipation as students from across the cosmos settled into their seats. Professor Zixnera, a towering six-armed centaurian, stood at the center of the stage, her iridescent skin shimmering under the holographic lights. "Welcome, future defenders of the galaxy," she began, her melodious voice echoing through the chamber. "Today's lesson may be the most crucial of your academic careers. We will discuss the species that has become both the intrigue and terror of our united galaxies, humans." A collective gasp rippled through the audience. Even the usually stoic Vulpinoid students' tails began to twitch nervously. Professor Zixnera activated the holographic display, and a three-dimensional image of Earth appeared, spinning slowly above her head. "Humans," she continued, "originate from this seemingly unremarkable planet. Yet they have proven to be anything but ordinary." She zoomed in on a playground filled with human children of various ages. The alien students leaned forward, curiosity piqued by the innocuous scene. "What you're about to witness may disturb you," the professor warned. "But understanding this is crucial for your future interactions with humans." The hologram sprang to life. Children ran, laughed, and played. But as the alien students watched, their expressions morphed from curiosity to shock, then to horror. A group of human children had picked up sticks, swinging them at each other with startling precision. Others wrestled on the ground, using techniques that the military cadets recognized from their hand-to-hand combat classes. "Great Nebula," whispered a Neptunian student, her watery form rippling with disbelief. "They're fighting." Professor Zixnera nodded gravely. "What you perceive as violence is, to them, play." From their earliest years, humans hone their combat skills through games. This is not organized training, but an intrinsic part of their development. The hologram shifted to show older children now. Teenagers engaged in sports. Football players crashed into each other with bone-jarring force. Wrestlers grappled on mats, using leverages and holds that made some of the alien students wince. But surely, a brave Andromedian student spoke up, his crystalline structure tinkling as he shivered. "This is just a small portion of their population. The warriors." Professor Zixnera's expression grew even more serious. "That's the most terrifying part. This isn't their warrior caste. These are average human children. They're actual military." She paused, allowing the implication to sink in. The amphitheater fell into stunned silence. However, the professor continued, her tone softening slightly. "It's crucial to understand that humans are not inherently aggressive. Their play, fighting, and sports serve multiple purposes: physical development, social bonding, and yes, preparation for potential conflicts. But they are equally capable of incredible compassion, creativity, and collaboration." She brought up new images: human children working together to build complex structures, solving puzzles, and comforting injured friends. "The key to understanding humans is recognizing their duality. The same intensity they bring to their war games, they also bring to their pursuit of peace, knowledge, and exploration. It is this combination that makes them so formidable and so fascinating." As the lesson concluded, the alien students filed out of the amphitheater, their minds reeling. They had come expecting to learn about a curious species. They left with the unsettling realization that the galaxy's children had been playing games, while human children had been preparing for war. All along. Professor Zixnera watched them go, a mixture of concern and hope in her multifaceted eyes. The future of galactic relations would depend on how well these students understood the complex species that was humanity. For in humans, the galaxy had found not just a potential threat, but perhaps its greatest allies, if they could learn to harness that incredible human potential for the good of all. Childhood games and combat skills. The following day, the Galactic Academy's lecture hall was packed to capacity. Word had spread about Professor Zixnera's revelatory lesson, and even senior military officials had come to observe. The professor stood calmly at the center, her six arms gracefully manipulating the holographic controls. "Today," She began. We delve deeper into the childhood games of humans and how they shape their combat skills. The hologram flickered to life, displaying a group of human children in a backyard. They were divided into two teams, each clutching brightly colored weapons that shot foam projectiles. This game is called Nerf War, Professor Zixnera explained. While it may seem harmless, observe their tactics. The alien audience watched in fascination as the children executed flanking maneuvers, used cover effectively, and communicated with hand signals. One team even set up an ambush, displaying a level of strategic thinking that left many observers slack-jawed. By the cosmic cores, muttered a high-ranking Arcturian general, his tentacles writhing in agitation. Those are military-grade tactics. Professor Zixnera nodded solemnly. Indeed, and this is just one of many such games. Observe. The hologram shifted to show children playing capture the flag, paintball, and laser tag. Each game demonstrated increasingly complex strategies, teamwork, and physical prowess. But it's not just direct combat simulations, the professor continued. Many of their sports and games indirectly contribute to their warrior skills. New images appeared, children climbing trees, navigating obstacle courses, and playing hide-and-seek in dense forests. These activities hone their agility, stealth, and adaptability to various environments, Zixnera explained. Skills that serve them well in both exploration and conflict. A Syrian student raised a glowing appendage. Professor, are you suggesting that all human children are trained as soldiers? Zixnera's expression softened. No, not at all. This is what makes humans so remarkable, and terrifying to some. These are not structured military drills, but games. They play for fun, for social bonding. The combat skills are a byproduct, albeit an incredibly effective one. The hologram changed again, this time showing human children engaged in cooperative games, building massive structures in Minecraft, solving complex puzzles together, and orchestrating intricate imaginary scenarios. This is the dual nature of humans we must understand, the professor emphasized. The same drive that makes them formidable potential warriors also fuels their creativity, problem-solving skills, and ability to collaborate on a massive scale. She paused, allowing her words to sink in. It is crucial to remember that humans are not inherently aggressive. Their history is filled with both conflict and incredible acts of peace and unity. Their adaptability is their true strength. As the lesson concluded, the audience sat in stunned silence. The military officials huddled together, whispered conversations filled with equal parts concern and admiration. Professor Zixnera's voice cut through the murmurs. We've only scratched the surface of understanding humans. Tomorrow, we'll explore how these childhood games evolve in their adolescent years and the implications for galactic society. As the attendees filed out, their minds whirled with the implications of what they'd learned. The galaxy had long viewed humans as an enigma, their rapid advancement both impressive and concerning. Now they were beginning to understand the root of that incredible adaptability and strength. The question on everyone's mind was no longer whether humans were a threat, but how to ensure they became allies instead of adversaries. For in the play of human children, the seeds of either galactic peace or unimaginable conflict were being sown. Adolescent training and virtual warfare. The anticipation in the Galactic Academy's auditorium was palpable as Professor Zixnera prepared to begin the third day of her lectures on humanity. The holographic displays hummed to life, casting an ethereal glow across the diverse array of alien faces. Today, the professor began, her voice resonating through the chamber. We examine how human adolescents build upon their childhood experiences, further honing their innate abilities in ways that continue to astonish and concern us. The hologram shifted to display a group of human teenagers engaged in various physical activities. Some were scaling towering rock walls, others were navigating complex obstacle courses, while a few were engaged in intense martial arts sparring sessions. As humans enter adolescence, their physical training intensifies, Zixnera explained. But it's not just about building strength or endurance. Observe their problem-solving skills, their ability to adapt to changing circumstances. The audience watched in fascination as a young human girl, halfway up a sheer cliff face, encountered a section of unstable rock. Without hesitation, she reassessed her route, found an alternative path, and continued her ascent. This adaptability, the professor continued, is not limited to physical challenges. It extends to their mental and emotional development as well. The hologram shifted again, this time showing a group of teenagers huddled around a table, intensely focused on what appeared to be a complex board game. This is called Dungeons and Dragons, Sixnera explained. It's a role-playing game that requires strategic thinking, teamwork, and the ability to improvise in unpredictable scenarios. In many ways, it's a cognitive warfare simulator. A Medusan student, its serpentine hair writhing in confusion, spoke up. But Professor, how can a simple game prepare them for the complexities of real conflict? Sixnera's multifaceted eyes gleamed. An astute question. Let me show you. The hologram changed dramatically, now displaying a teenage human boy sitting before a complex array of screens and controls. The screens showed various battle scenarios, space combat, ground warfare, and complex logistical operations. This, the professor said, her voice grave, is what truly sets human adolescents apart. Their virtual training simulations. The alien audience watched in awe as the human teenager coordinated a multi-front battle strategy, managing resources, troop movements, and diplomatic negotiations simultaneously. By the cosmic void, breathed an Andromeden general, its crystalline form shimmering with agitation. That's a galactic war scenario. How can a mere adolescent? Exactly, Sixnera interjected. What you're witnessing is not a military training program. This is entertainment for them. They call these video games. A stunned silence fell over the auditorium. But it's not just warfare, the professor continued, changing the display once more. Now it showed teenagers collaborating on massive virtual construction projects, solving complex scientific puzzles, and even simulating the management of entire civilizations. These games sharpen their strategic thinking, resource management, and collaborative skills. They learn to think in systems, to see patterns, to adapt to rapidly changing situations, all while believing they are simply playing. The implications hung heavy in the air. The same skills that made human adolescents formidable potential warriors also made them brilliant scientists, engineers, and leaders. It is crucial to understand, Sixnera emphasized, her voice cutting through the tension, that humans do not see these activities as preparation for conflict. To them, this is recreation, social bonding, and mental stimulation. Their capacity for both creation and destruction is deeply intertwined. As the lecture concluded, the alien audience filed out in contemplative silence. They had come seeking to understand why the galaxy feared human children. They left with a profound realization. The galaxy wasn't just afraid of human children. It was in awe of their potential. The question now was not how to defend against humans, but how to channel their incredible adaptability and creativity for the benefit of all galactic species. For in the games of human adolescence, the seeds of either a new golden age of galactic cooperation or an era of unparalleled conflict were being sown. Professor Sixnera watched them go, her expression a mixture of concern and hope. Tomorrow's lecture on the intergalactic tournament would be the true test of their understanding. For it was there that the true nature of humanity's potential would be revealed to the galaxy at large. The intergalactic tournament surprise. The Galactic Academy's amphitheater was filled to capacity on the fourth day. The air buzzed with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as Professor Sixnera took her place at the center stage. Today's lesson promised to be the most revealing yet. Esteemed colleagues and students, she began, her voice cutting through the murmurs. Today we discuss an event that changed our understanding of humanity forever. The Great Intergalactic Tournament of 2750. A holographic display came to life. showing a massive space station orbiting a neutral planet. Ships from various galactic civilizations were docking, each carrying their best and brightest. The tournament was designed to showcase the strengths of each species, Nera explained. Combat simulations, scientific challenges, diplomatic scenarios, a true test of galactic prowess. The images shifted, showing the opening ceremony. Among the towering Arcturians, the ethereal Andromedans, and the hive-minded Vespoids stood a small delegation of humans. They looked almost unremarkable in comparison. Many dismissed the humans as an afterthought. The professor continued. After all, they were one of the youngest spacefaring civilizations. How could they possibly compete? A Neptunian student, its watery form rippling with curiosity, spoke up. But surely, Professor, after what you've shown us about their childhood and adolescent training, they must have performed well. Nera's multifaceted eyes glimmered. Perform well. My dear student, they dominated. The hologram burst into a flurry of activity, showing highlights from the tournament. Humans excelling in zero-gravity combat simulations, their childhood games translating seamlessly into space warfare tactics. In scientific challenges, their problem-solving skills, honed through years of puzzles and strategy games, allowed them to find innovative solutions that left other species baffled. But it was the diplomatic scenarios that truly shocked the galactic community. Watch closely, Nera urged, zooming in on a human delegate engaged in a complex negotiation with a coalition of other species. The audience observed in amazement as the human deftly navigated the conflicting interests, finding compromises where none seemed possible, and ultimately forging an agreement that benefited all parties. By the cosmic core, gasped an Arcturian diplomat in the audience. That's unprecedented. Nera nodded solemnly. Indeed, the humans displayed a level of adaptability and creative thinking that we had never encountered before. Their ability to see patterns, to think laterally, to improvise, all skills developed through their games and simulations, gave them an edge we hadn't anticipated. The hologram shifted again, showing the award ceremony. Humans stood on podiums across multiple categories, their faces beaming with pride and excitement. The galaxy's reaction was mixed, the professor continued. Many were in awe of human potential. Others were terrified. For if this was what humans could do in friendly competition, what might they be capable of in real conflict? A tense silence fell over the auditorium as the implications sank in. But Nera's voice softened. This event also opened doors. Many species, impressed by human capabilities, sought alliances and cultural exchanges. The humans, for their part, showed an eagerness to learn from other civilizations, to share their knowledge and skills. The final image showed humans working alongside other species on various projects, building new technologies, solving galactic-scale problems, and forging diplomatic ties. This is the duality of humanity we must understand, Nera concluded. The same traits that make them formidable potential adversaries also make them invaluable allies. Their adaptability, creativity, and collaborative spirit could usher in a new era of galactic prosperity, if we approach them with understanding rather than fear. As the lecture ended, the audience remained seated, minds whirling with the implications of what they'd learned. The galaxy had feared human children for their potential for conflict, only to discover that this same potential could be the key to unprecedented peace and progress. Professor Nera's voice cut through their contemplation. Tomorrow, in our final session, we will discuss the most crucial topic of all: how we, as a galactic community, should approach our relationship with humanity moving forward. The attendees filed out, their discussions a mix of excitement and apprehension. For in the wake of the great intergalactic tournament, the future of the galaxy hung in the balance, and humanity, it seemed, held the key. Humanity's unexpected defenders. On the final day of her lecture series, Professor Nera stood before a packed auditorium. The tension in the air was palpable as representatives from various galactic governments joined the usual array of students and academics. "Esteemed beings of the galaxy," Zixnera began, her voice solemn, "today we face our greatest challenge: how to move forward in a cosmos where humanity's potential has been revealed." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a tapestry of images from across human history. Their triumphs and failures, their wars and peace treaties, their destructive capabilities, and their astounding acts of compassion. "We have spent days examining why the galaxy fears human children," the professor continued. "Their innate combat skills, their strategic minds, their unparalleled adaptability. But today, I pose a different question. Should we truly fear them, or should we embrace them as our greatest hope?" A murmur rippled through the audience. A Vespoid diplomat raised a segmented limb. "Professor, surely you can't be suggesting we simply ignore the threat they pose." Zixnera's multifaceted eyes gleamed. "On the contrary, Ambassador, I'm suggesting we reframe our understanding of that potential entirely." The hologram shifted, displaying scenes from recent galactic history. It showed human ships rushing to the aid of a Neptunian colony devastated by a supernova, human scientists collaborating with Androndan researchers to cure a pan-galactic plague, and human diplomats mediating a centuries-old conflict between the Arcturians and the Sirians. "What we perceive as a threat," Zixnera explained, "is in fact an unparalleled capacity for problem-solving and adaptation. Yes, these skills make them formidable in conflict, but they also make humans the most effective allies we could hope for in facing the true threats to our galactic civilization." The display changed again, showing ominous images of encroaching void energies from the galactic rim, of dying stars, and resource-depleted worlds. "These are our real enemies," the professor declared, "cosmic forces that threaten all sentient life. And in the face of these challenges, humanity's unique attributes become not a threat, but our greatest asset." She gestured to a group of human representatives who had been quietly observing from a corner of the auditorium. They stepped forward, their expressions a mix of humility and determination. One of them, a woman with silver hair and eyes that sparkled with intelligence, addressed the gathering. "We understand your fears," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. "We've seen the destructive potential within ourselves, but we've also seen our capacity for growth, for compassion, for finding solutions where none seemed possible." The human continued, "We don't ask for your trust blindly. We ask for the opportunity to earn it, to work alongside you in facing the challenges that threaten us all, to turn the skills we've honed through play and competition towards the preservation and betterment of all sentient life." A hushed silence fell over the auditorium. Then, slowly, a Centaurian general stood up. "I've seen human children at play," he rumbled. "I've seen the fire in their eyes, the determination in their stance. If we can channel that spirit towards our common goals, we might just stand a chance against the void." One by one, representatives from other species stood, voicing their support. The tide of opinion was turning. Professor Zixnera raised her 6 arms, calling for attention. "This is the crossroads we face," she declared. "We can continue to fear human potential, to see them as a threat to be contained, or we can embrace them as partners, channeling their unique abilities towards the betterment of all." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the auditorium. The galaxy feared human children because it didn't understand them. Now that we do, we have a choice to make. Will we let fear drive us apart, or will we let understanding bring us together? As the lecture concluded, the auditorium buzzed with excited discussion. Diplomats from various species were already approaching the human representatives, eager to begin dialogue. Scientists were proposing joint research initiatives. Military leaders were discussing combined training exercises. Professor Zixnera watched it all unfold, a sense of hope filling her being. The galaxy had feared human children, seeing in them the potential for unparalleled conflict. But in understanding them, they had discovered something far more powerful, the potential for unparalleled progress. As she prepared to leave the stage, Zixnera knew that the future of the galaxy had been irrevocably changed. The children of humanity, once feared, were now poised to become the unexpected defenders of all sentient life. And in their games, their curiosity, and their unyielding spirit, the seeds of a brighter cosmic future were already beginning to sprout.